What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Elijah Merritt for his donation to the channel. He says, thank you for being a great YouTuber with great content. And I appreciate you, man. You're one of my biggest supporters, man. You're one of my most consistent supporters. You've been subscribed to my channel for a very long time, man. Enjoyed the conversation I had with you the other day, man. And thank you for the support, man. And anybody else that want to donate to my channel, you can do so in the links provided in the description box below. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate all you guys, man. Now I want to talk a little bit about this fight coming up this weekend between Manny Pacquiao and Keith one-time Thurman. Be completely honest with you guys, man. I don't like either one of these individuals. I really don't. I don't particularly care about this fight. Don't have any passion for it. Don't feel one way about it. I don't feel any way about it one way or the other, man. I really don't. Wish was some way both these guys could lose. You know what I'm saying? I think Keith Thurman has developed into a supreme jerk. You know what I'm saying? Some other things about him I don't like. Some of the comments that he said recently. I think he's somewhat delusional. At the same time, though, even though the media tends to treat Manny Pacquiao with kid gloves, never forget some of the things that went on, you know what I'm saying, regarding the YTBC and then subsequently the LDBC, especially during the height of the Mayweather-Pacquiao, drama. You know what I'm saying? Before these guys actually fought, which was one of the most anticlimactic bouts ever. You know what I'm saying? It was a one-way affair with Mayweather, but the fight was lackluster, and it failed to live up to expectations, at least as far as the actual fight. Monetarily, it was the biggest fight of all time. But never forget the comments, the things that were said by Mayweather supporters, Pacquiao supporters online, all of the racist comments, all the hateful comments, just the sheer ignorance that was displayed by his supporters. And, you can't forget that. So I understand why some people feel that they support Thurman through at least the lesser of two evils mindset. You know what I mean? I get that. Personally, like I said, I just don't care who wins this fight. If I had to take a guess as to who would win, I was just in a hangout with Santee Walton. Shout out to Santee Walton and Cali Enigma. Cali Enigma, excuse me. I lost my connection, but I kind of agree with Cali Enigma in the fact that you just kind of got to go with Keith Thurman because the age factor. I mean, Manny Pacquiao is 40 years old, man. He's 40 years old, and that's a factor that you can't help but look at. You know what I'm saying? He's 40 years old. I believe he's going on 41. I think he'll be 41 later this year, like in November or December or some shit like that. So, yeah, he's 40 years old, man, and he's definitely not the Manny Pacquiao that he was 10, 12 years ago. He's definitely not that guy anymore. Still a good fighter, though. One thing about him, though, he has remained an active fighter. He hasn't taken long, sustained breaks from fighting. So he's remained sharp as a boxer. So that's something that's going for him. But you can't say the same thing all the time for Keith Thurman. So this will be interesting, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really have a prediction for this fight. I can see this fight going the distance. And I could see if this fight went the distance, I could see Keith Thurman getting fucked via decision. I could see that. I could see Keith Thurman stopping Manny Pacquiao. I could see Manny Pacquiao possibly landing some lucky punch and, stopping Keith Thurman. Although I see Thurman stopping Manny Pacquiao easier than I see vice versa at this point in both of their careers. So that's my feelings on that. You know what I'm saying, as far as this bout. After that, what I'm saying, if Keith Thurman does beat Manny Pacquiao, I think Keith Thurman has to fight some of the guys that people want him to, people want to see him fight. You know what I'm saying? Which is some of these dangerous black boxers out here. You know what I'm saying? I don't get what it is with these guys, man. Like, it's like historically, man, boxers, I understand it. I get it from the perspective of they don't want to lose their clout. They don't want to lose their position and bargaining angles. I get it all. I get that, man. But from a competitive standpoint, I wouldn't feel good as a boxer or a fighter. I couldn't call myself the heavyweight champion of the world and be scared to fight somebody 'cause I think I'm going to lose. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why you got to respect guys like Muhammad Ali. That's why you got to respect guys like going all the way back to Joe Louis. You know what I'm saying? You got to respect, to an extent, Mike Tyson. Even though, some people feel like Tyson ducked a few guys. One guy come to mind, George Foreman. And then some other guys. But for the most part, they fought everybody. They lost some fights. But more often than not, they won some big fights. And that's why historically they looked at it a certain way. And that's why, as history's gone on, some of these other guys who have ducked fighters because of, they felt that they couldn't beat them, or whether it was the race line, like with Jack Dempsey. That's why some of these other guys, over time, history hasn't been as kind to them. But that's how I feel with Keith Thurman, man. You know what I'm saying? With Manny Pacquiao, if he were to win this fight, it would be a tremendous victory for him. No doubt about it. It'd be a tremendous victory for him. And it would be a signature win on his resume. You know what I'm saying? And he's a Hall of Fame fighter. I don't particularly care for him. I despise his fan base. But as far as his resume, you got to respect it. You know what I'm saying? Um, I would like to see him fight Floyd Mayweather one more time, though. I can't lie about that. I would like to see him fight Floyd one more time. Just because of the simple fact that the first fight just did not live up to expectations. The first fight, you know what I'm saying, when you was watching it, it was a snore fest. You know. Now, you can't, if you're a Floyd Mayweather, you're like, well, I can't help the fact that it wasn't, it was that one-sided. I was so much better than him. I get that. Some Manny Pacquiao fans still want to cry about, he wasn't quite ready, he was injured, whatever. But you kind of do wish that those guys, for all of the hype and hoopla that we've seen over the past decade with that, you would hope that maybe in some time in the future that those two will fight at least a rubber match. You know what I'm saying? To shut up any type of excuse once and for all. You know what I'm saying? But as far as this fight's concerned, at the very least, I just would like to see a good fight, man. Like, that's all I want to see. When I don't have a rooting interest in a fight, when I don't really particularly like one guy or the other over the other, I just want to see a good fight. That's it. A good competitive fight, and whoever's the best man wins. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really a big fan of boxing anymore. I don't really follow boxing like I used to. But, if we were just to see some of these guys fight each other more often, and not have every fucking fight be on pay-per-view, which I think has killed boxing, by the way. Because I think there's so many fights that are on pay-per-view that should be available to the mass public to help build interest in fights. Then you put the super fights on pay-per-view. Now, it used to be that the super fights were on pay-per-view. Now you got every fucking, fight that's against some guys with some names, what I'm saying? They're on pay-per-view and shit. Then you wonder why boxing has fell off the way it has. But anyway, I just like to see a good fight between these two guys, man. You know what I'm saying? As far as Manny Pacquiao's base, his fan base, fuck 99.99% of you dudes. Keith Thurman, you know what I'm saying? I don't particularly like you, man. You're an asshole. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man.